Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I wanted to talk specifically about um, Dungeons and Dragons and this classic communication issue we have, which I think is very like. So, what is this classic communication? It's players who are not holding up their end of the social contract, and I saw this beautifully displayed in a show I'm watching that I want to recommend you to. And I'm going to talk about how they showed this problem absolutely perfectly in the show, and then how it pertains to players. Okay, and then I want to talk about what do we as dungeon masters do to fix this problem in our players. All right, so all right, let's go forward. Okay, so the show I want to recommend to you is School Spirits. Okay, so spoilers for School Spirits, all of season one here. So School Spirits is a brilliant show. It's every Dungeon Master content, and it's on Paramount Plus. I'm back on Paramount Plus. So first of all, I have a love-hate relationship with Paramount Plus. I refuse to pay full price for it. So I'm totally on churn with them. Like I will get. And so right now I got a Black Friday deal for 3 months where I get to watch it for 3 months at $1.99 with Paramount Plus Essentials, and which means I have to watch ads with it. That's okay. The show is brilliant. It's a Paramount Plus show. It's called School Spirit. It's highly recommended. It's on Paramount Plus. It is brilliant. Okay. So what did they did something I'd never seen done before in any show, right? So basically the concept is this girl Maddie is in a modern day high school right now, right? And she's murdered, right? And so now she's dead, and she's a ghost at her high school, and she could see all the people that she knew before, and she could see all the ghosts that live in the school. So she could talk to the ghosts who live in the school, and she could talk to one person who's living in the school to help her solve her murder. It's absolutely brilliant, right? So one of the suspects for her being murdered, which is absolutely fascinating, is yeah, is Xavier, her boyfriend Xavier, right? Now, the people who cared about Maddie, and there's so Maddie's best friend Simon told Maddie, "Your boyfriend Xavier is a garbage human, and you should not be dealing with him. He has every red flag, and he could be extremely dangerous to you." Now, he said this to her when she was alive, and Maddie literally says to Simon, "The problems of him are why I'm attracted to him." I've never seen a show be that honest about, how some relationships are structured. Like, "Oh no, this terrible thing happened that I had every clue I knew would happen." Like it's like very like I couldn't believe how open it was on that particular discussion, right? Of it was pretty astounding. So Xavier is, and so why? But Maddie, why would you pursue this guy who every single red flag is that he's literally could be physically dangerous to you and that he's broken completely? Why would you pursue him? Because he's conventionally handsome. That's the whole reason. Really, you're like, oh my gosh, like what? The show is astonishing, right? Like, so Maddie has another friend named Nicole. So Maddie gets murdered, and now Xavier is teams up with Maddie's friend Nicole to solve Maddie's murder, right? So Maddie's friend Nicole gets together with Xavier, who is a suspect for murdering Maddie, right? To solve her murder, because the police aren't doing anything, right? They're like, "Oh, let's look around a bit and then quit." And so Nicole is taking, and so Xavier is saying, "Hey, I want to help find Maddie," and he gets Nicole to trust him. But then so Nicole jumps in the car with Xavier, right? And she says a whole bunch. She's like, "We got to find Maddie. So I think this teacher is on the list to have killed her. I used to think you killed her, but you're off the list now, or I wouldn't trust you in this car." And then, but here's all this evidence we can use against the teacher. And so let's go. And so against the teacher. That's my thoughts. And then Nicole just goes quiet, right? And they're driving somewhere, or they're about to drive somewhere. And so Xavier just opens up some Cheetos, which are Nicole's food from the back of her car, and sits there and says nothing and starts to eat Cheetos while Nicole's supposed to just drive to the next place they're going. And Nicole like puts the key in and then doesn't turn the car on and goes, "This is the part where you talk," right? And he looks up and he's like, "What?" Right? Like, and you could tell what he's saying and what she's saying, right? He's saying, "I'm conventionally handsome. I don't have to do anything. Shut up and drive." Right? I can be broody. I can add nothing to the conversation. I can do nothing, right? You just being 2 feet away from me is your reward because I'm conventionally handsome. And Nicole is like, "You can go kick rocks. I don't give a crap if you're conventionally handsome because the reality is I don't care. Like, we're supposed to be in this together, which means you got to hold up your end," right? And I've literally never seen any show just say, "You know what? If you're a conventionally handsome dude, that's not enough to just sit there and brood and do nothing and get Sherpa'd along." I'm trying to get rid of using that term, not Sherpa. I don't know if that's appropriate to say anymore. I have incredible respect for Sherpas, and I've heard these stories that they essentially almost carry these privileged mountain climbers up, but I should get a better term. So please excuse me for that. So she's saying, "Hey, I'm not going to carry you, right? Just because you're conventionally handsome." I couldn't believe, like, it's astounding how many shows are like, "Oh, this character doesn't need to contribute anything. Their proximity, just standing next to them is enough for them to be on the adventure." And couldn't believe it. So where does that leave us for Dungeons and Dragons? Here you go. Yeah. Your character that's broody and silent and sits alone at the campfire and is oh so cool. You suck as a player. It's not enough. You have to hold up your end, right? And so that's the point, right? That's where we land, right? And every player who does this, every single Dungeons and Dragon player who does, like, "I'm a lone wolf sitting alone by the fire and brooding. Of course I'm super handsome. And the rest of you jerk player characters, you're just going to put up with my crap because it's just enough. I'm super cool." And me as a player, I would love to be nice to you guys and help hold up my end of the social fabric of this adventuring team. But I'd really just rather treat you all like dirt, right? And say snide comments and add nothing. But I'll be along for the adventure because I'm oh so cool, right? And so I'm the lone wolf saying, "Oh, my lone wolf character is a conventionally handsome character in shows and in real life." This happens very much in real life too, right? Like I think many people are putting up with the conventionally handsome person. I think there are many people who are choosing to have a conventionally handsome man in their life, and they contribute nothing, but their proximity is enough, right? And I'm calling out, if you're this player, it's not enough. You need to hold up your end of the social fabric. And I know you want to play your lone wolf character, but you suck. You suck, and you have to stop doing this, right? Now, the reality is there's almost no possibility that there's a single player who does this listening to this channel. Only people here are dedicated dungeon masters. Yeah, so I'm singing to the choir. So how do we get this message to these players? Right now, my only hope is to put it right here on this channel and pray that that person who is that person now becomes a dungeon master later, and then has the ability to speak back generationally to the next person who's doing it because they did it themselves. And honestly, I've never done this, right? I never played the lone wolf character. I've seen it at the table 100 times, right? But I've never done this. So that's the only hope I have. But you're smarter than me. Is there another way to get this message to the players who need it, right? This is me putting this here as a hope and a prayer, and it may work, right? From the structure I just talked about, but that's low probability. How do we fix player behavior when the players who do it literally aren't at the table? They're not looking for ways to improve. That's my challenge to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.